The last bell rings, but no one moves. Mr. Reynolds, the AP calculus teacher, slaps a stack of graded exams onto his desk with a smug kind of authority. He adjusts his tie, eyes sweeping the room like a warden surveying inmates. "Today," he announces, tapping the papers, "you'll see why effort doesn't replace discipline. Some of you need to be reminded of your limits." The class shifts uncomfortably. A couple of kids snicker. Others avoid his gaze. In the back row, Malik Carter sits quietly, his hood halfway over his head, his notebook full of scribbles balanced on his lap. At 17, Malik is the kind of kid teachers either ignore or misunderstand. The quiet one, always drawing equations like they're sketches, always seeing math as music instead of drills. Reynolds starts dropping exams onto desks. The sound of paper slapping against wood echoes in the tense room. B-, needs more work. C+, barely acceptable. F, didn't even try. Then the paper lands on Malik's desk. One look at it and his chest tightens. Across the top, written in thick red ink, 49-100. Possible cheating. He blinks, scanning the pages. Every solution he wrote is correct. His integrals are precise, his derivatives exact, but his methods? Different. He used multivariable Hessians where the curriculum expected step-by-step derivatives. He used substitutions so advanced they looked foreign on the page. At the bottom of the test, a note slashes through his work. Unacceptable methods. This is not how it's done. The classroom buzzes with whispers. From the front row, Tyler smirks. "Yo, looks like Genius Boy isn't so smart after all." Mr. Reynolds smirks too, resting against his desk. "Class, let this be a lesson. Sometimes when students think they're above the rules, they crash hard." Malik here is a good example of that. Malik feels his throat burn, but he doesn't raise his voice. He just lifts the exam slightly, his hand trembling, and says calmly, "But my answers are right. The results match exactly." Reynolds doesn't even glance at the paper. Doesn't matter. This class teaches the proper way, not shortcuts or whatever this is. You either follow the curriculum or you fail. And frankly, Malik, your work looks a little too polished for someone like you. The words hang heavy in the air. Someone like you. Everyone knows what he means. Malik presses his lips together, folding the test in half. He doesn't argue. Not here. Not when he can feel every pair of eyes in the room staring at him. When the bell finally rings, the room empties fast. Malik lingers. At the door, he asks quietly, "Did you even read the proofs I wrote in the margins?" Reynolds shoves papers into his briefcase without looking up. "I'm not interested in your methods, Carter. I'm interested in what's correct." Malik's voice lowers. "They are correct." Reynolds finally glances at him, cold amusement in his eyes. "Then maybe you should find a class where people care, because it isn't mine." By the time Malik slips into the robotics lab after school, his chest still feels tight. The lab is a world apart from Reynolds' classroom. The smell of solder, the hum of 3D printers, half-built machines scattered across tables. Ms. Patel, the robotics coach, looks up from the robot chassis she's repairing. Her face lights up. "Hey Carter, about time you showed up. Your code nearly fried the motors again." Malik manages a weak smile and drops his exam on the table. The red 49 is impossible to miss. Ms. Patel's brow furrows as she picks it up. She flips through the pages. Her eyes widen when she sees the advanced notations, the multivariable proofs. "Malik, where did you learn to do this?" He shrugs. "I was just experimenting. There's faster ways to solve some problems if you look at them differently." "Faster? This is graduate-level math." She points to one line. "This is a Hessian, high-level optimization work. Why would he fail you for this?" "He said I cheated, or that I made it up." Malik's voice is flat. Ms. Patel sets the paper down slowly. "This isn't cheating. This is brilliance. And if he can't see that, then he's the one failing." She looks at Malik firmly. "Tomorrow morning, we go to his office. Together. You're going to show him your work step by step, and if he still refuses to listen, then we'll take it higher." Malik lets out a humorless laugh. "And if they all refuse to listen?" Ms. Patel leans in. "Then we make them. You're not going to be invisible, Malik. Not anymore." That night, Malik sits at his kitchen table while his mom, Tasha Carter, stirs a pot of soup in her nurse's scrubs. She's exhausted from a double shift, but when Malik slides the test across the table, she sees the 49, and her jaw tightens. He tells her everything. Reynolds's words, the way the class laughed, how he stayed quiet. Tasha listens, her tired eyes full of fire. "Baby," she says softly, "our people have always had to fight twice as hard just to be seen. You're not just smart, you're gifted. And if they won't acknowledge it, then you keep your receipts. You show your work. You make it undeniable." Malik nods, opening his laptop. On the screen is the project he's been building in secret, a symbolic solver he calls Neon, a program that tackles calculus like jazz, solving problems with patterns and flows no textbook teaches. He's been feeding it his methods line by line until it could replicate his thinking. He starts typing, documenting everything. His proofs, his methods, the code. By midnight, he has a full packet ready. Evidence that his way works, that it's real. At the top, he types, "Presentation for Mr. Reynolds, alternative proofs." Before bed, his phone buzzes. A text from Ms. Patel. "Meet me at his office at 8:10. Don't be late. You ready?" Malik stares at the message, then at his folded exam still sitting on the desk. His jaw sets. "I'm ready," he whispers. The hallways smell of floor wax and stale coffee when Malik and Ms. Patel step into school the next morning. It's early, too early for most students. The only sounds are the squeak of janitor carts and the faint hum of vending machines. Malik's backpack feels heavier than usual, stuffed with notebooks, his laptop, and a folder of carefully typed proofs. At 8:09, they reach Mr. Reynolds' office. The door is closed, a frosted glass window with his name painted in fading letters. Malik hesitates. His palms are damp. He can almost hear Reynolds' voice already. "This isn't how it's done. This isn't the right way." Ms. Patel notices his hesitation. She rests a hand on his shoulder. "You're not here to beg, Malik. You're here to prove. There's a difference." He nods, exhales, and knocks. Inside, Reynolds' sharp voice, "Come in." The office smells like chalk dust and old leather. Books are stacked neatly on the shelves, but the desk is covered in graded papers. Reynolds sits behind it, tie crisp, eyes narrowed. He glances at Ms. Patel first, then at Malik, and the corner of his mouth lifts in annoyance. "This early, Patel? What's the emergency?" Ms. Patel doesn't flinch. "We're here to discuss Malik's test. He deserves the chance to defend his work." Reynolds leans back, folding his hands. "Defend? Students don't defend, they learn. If he wants to improve his grade, he can take the retest next month. End of story." Malik speaks up, his voice steadier than he expected. "It's not the story, sir. My answers were right. You failed me because my methods were different, but they work. I can prove it." Reynolds raises a brow, amused. "Prove it? What is this, a courtroom?" Ms. Patel cuts in sharp. "If you're accusing him of cheating, then yes, he has the right to prove his innocence, unless you'd rather admit you failed him without cause." A flicker of irritation flashes in Reynolds' eyes. He waves dismissively. "Fine, show me your so-called methods, but don't waste my time." Malik slides his folder onto the desk, flipping it open. Each page is meticulous. Step-by-step solutions, side-by-side comparisons with the standard method, and computer-generated outputs from Neon. He starts with the first problem. "This integral. The standard way takes 6 substitution steps. My method reduces it using Hessian optimization. Same answer, less work." He points to the proof, then to the Neon printout. "You can check line by line." Reynolds skims it, frowning. "This is unconventional." "Unconventional doesn't mean wrong," Malik says, firmer now. Reynolds' eyes flick up at him, sharp as knives. For a moment, Malik wonders if he's crossed a line, but Ms. Patel leans forward, pressing the advantage. "He solved every problem correctly, Reynolds. If you mark him down for creativity, you're punishing brilliance." The teacher's jaw tightens. "Brilliance?" He lets out a short laugh. "Don't exaggerate. He found shortcuts. Maybe he memorized them from the internet. That doesn't make him a genius." Malik's hands clench at his sides. "I didn't memorize anything. I wrote the program that generated these proofs." Reynolds looks up sharply. "What?" "I built it," Malik says, sliding his laptop across the desk. He opens Neon and types a command. Within seconds, the screen fills with outputs. Step-by-step solutions written in the same strange but precise notation. Reynolds' eyes flicker with something Malik has never seen on his face before. Hesitation. "This isn't some copied homework, it's mine. Every line of code, every theorem, I built it from scratch. If you want, I can walk you through the functions right now." For the first time, Reynolds doesn't have a ready comeback. He stares at the screen, jaw tight. His knuckles whiten as he grips the desk. Then, finally, he sneers. "Clever toy. But in this class, I decide what counts. And what you've done here doesn't count." The words land like a punch. Malik feels heat rising in his chest. "So no matter what I prove, you'll fail me anyway?" Reynolds stands, voice cold. "That's exactly right. Because discipline matters more than tricks. And if you think you're smarter than me, Carter, you're in for a very rude awakening." Ms. Patel stands too, eyes blazing. "You're crossing a line, Reynolds. This isn't about discipline. This is about prejudice." Reynolds' voice drops, sharp as a knife. "Careful, Patel." But Malik speaks before she can. His voice is low, trembling with both fear and anger. "You just admitted it. You'd rather fail me than admit I'm right." For a long, tense moment, no one speaks. The hum of the computer fan fills the silence. Finally, Ms. Patel pulls Malik's folder off the desk. "We're done here. If the system won't listen, we'll take this higher. Principal's office. Superintendent. Whoever it takes." Reynolds' face darkens, but he doesn't stop them as they head for the door. His voice follows them out, bitter and quiet. "You're making a mistake, Carter. You don't know how small you really are." In the hallway, Malik exhales shakily. Ms. Patel squeezes his shoulder. "You did good. You showed him. Now the next step is making sure others see it too." Malik nods, but deep inside, a storm brews. He knows Reynolds won't let this go quietly. He knows the fight has only begun. But he also knows one thing with absolute certainty. For the first time in his life, he refused to be invisible. The morning rush has begun. Lockers slam, sneakers squeak on tile, and chatter fills the hallway as Malik and Ms. Patel make their way toward the principal's office. Malik feels every pair of eyes on him. Word travels fast in this school. By now, half the students know he confronted Reynolds. Ms. Patel pushes open the glass door to the administration wing. The office secretary, Mrs. Dawson, looks up from her computer. Her polite smile falters when she sees them. "Principal Harris is in a meeting." "We'll wait," Ms. Patel says firmly. Malik sinks into a chair. His heart pounds. On the wall behind the secretary, framed certificates declare phrases like excellence in education and commitment to equity. He wonders how much those words really mean. Minutes tick by until the door to Principal Harris's office opens. A tall man with silver hair and a suit steps out, shaking hands with a district official. Harris spots Patel and Malik waiting, his expression tightening. "Patel. Carter. What's this about?" "About Reynolds," Ms. Patel says. "We need to talk." Harris sighs, glancing at his watch, then waves them in. His office smells of coffee and old carpet. Diplomas line the walls. He closes the door and takes his seat behind a heavy oak desk. "All right, explain." Patel wastes no time. She slides Malik's folder onto the desk. Reynolds failed Malik for using advanced math methods. He accused him of cheating without evidence. Malik has proof his work is correct. He deserves his grade restored. Harris flips through the pages half-heartedly. Looks complicated, but Reynolds is one of my most experienced teachers. If he believes Malik's work doesn't meet expectations... Expectations? Patel cuts him off. "Since when is being smarter than the curriculum a punishable offense?" Malik finally speaks, voice steady. "I built a program that solves these problems. It shows my methods work. Reynolds refused to even look at it. He told me he'd fail me no matter what." Harris looks up sharply. "He said that?" "Yeah," Malik says. "In front of Ms. Patel." Patel nods. "He admitted it, out loud. He's targeting Malik because he can't accept a student challenging him." The principal leans back, fingers steepled. For a moment, Malik hopes he'll side with them. But Harris's tone turns cautious. "That's a serious claim. If I confront Reynolds, he'll deny it. And without evidence," Patel interrupts again. "I heard it. I'm your evidence." "Patel," Harris says, lowering his voice, "you've always been passionate, but you need to understand how this looks. If you make accusations like this, you put the school's reputation at risk." "The school's reputation?" Patel's voice rises. "What about Malik's future? He's applying to colleges. One false grade could wreck everything." Malik's chest tightens. He pictures application forms, transcripts, rejection letters. His stomach knots. Principal Harris sighs, rubbing his temples. "I'll review the case, but until then, Malik's grade stands. I won't overrule a teacher without a formal process. Ms. Patel's hands ball into fists. So you'll let injustice slide until it's buried in paperwork? Harris's voice hardens. That's enough. I'll set up a meeting between Reynolds, myself, and the district coordinator. Until then, the matter is closed. Closed. The word hits Malik like a lock slamming shut. Back in the hallway, Patel mutters under her breath, "Coward." She turns to Malik. "Don't let this break you. If Harris won't do the right thing, we'll take it higher. The school board. The media if we have to." Malik swallows hard. But what if Reynolds gets to them first? He already thinks I cheated. What if everyone else believes it too? Patel studies him, her expression softening. Then we make them believe the truth. You've got something Reynolds can't touch. The code, the proofs, the brilliance. That's our weapon. At lunch, Malik sits alone with his laptop. The cafeteria hums with noise, but he tunes it out. He opens Neon, running problems faster and faster, refining the outputs. He imagines showing them to a college professor, someone who'd recognize what he's built. But for now, it's just him, just a kid fighting a system stacked against him. Across the room, whispers spread. Tyler points him out to friends. That's the kid Reynolds caught cheating. Total fraud. A few students glance over, smirking. Malik keeps his head down, but the sting lingers. His phone buzzes. A message from his mom. How did it go? He types back slowly. Principal won't change it yet. Still fighting. After a pause, her reply, keep your head high. They can't erase the truth. Proud of you. Malik exhales, some of the weight lifting. By the end of the day, Ms. Patel pulls him aside. I've been thinking. The district won't care unless they see the bigger picture. What if we showed them your project at the science fair? Public stage, judges, witnesses. They couldn't ignore it then. Malik hesitates. You think they'd even let me in? I'll make sure they do, Patel says. But you need to be ready. Once the spotlight's on you, there's no going back. Malik looks at his laptop screen. Neon's code shimmering like a secret waiting to be revealed. He thinks of Reynolds' cold smile, Harris's cautious words, Tyler's mocking laughter. Then he thinks of his mom's message. Proud of you. He closes the laptop with a decisive snap. I'm ready. The week leading up to the science fair feels like a storm Malik can't escape. Every class, every hallway, he hears whispers. That's the kid Reynolds caught cheating. Some students snicker when he passes. Others just look away, unwilling to be seen siding with him. Reynolds, of course, feeds the fire. In calculus class, he lectures about integrity, about how shortcuts and dishonesty ruin education. He doesn't say Malik's name, but everyone knows who he's talking about. Malik forces himself to stay silent, head down, pencil scratching formulas into his notebook. He knows arguing will only make it worse. But after school, in the robotics lab, the story is different. Ms. Patel treats him like he belongs. She spreads blueprints across the tables, assigns tasks to the team, and keeps nudging Malik back toward his project. You have 1 week, she reminds him, tapping the neon logo on his laptop screen. Not just to finish this code, but to make it shine. The judges won't just want equations, they'll want impact. Show them why your work matters. Malik nods. I can handle the math, but how do I make people care? Patel smiles. That's the secret of every invention, Malik. It's not just what it does, but what it means. That night at home, Malik sits at the kitchen table with his mom, Tasha. She's exhausted, still in scrubs after another 12-hour shift, but she refuses to let him eat alone. You're really doing this fair? She asks, spooning soup into bowls. I don't have a choice, Malik says. If Reynolds won't listen, if the principal won't listen, maybe strangers will. Tasha studies him carefully. Baby, strangers can be worse than people you know. They don't always want the truth. I know. He pushes his laptop toward her. But neon isn't just for me. It could help other kids. Imagine not being scared of calculus because a program shows you the steps in a way that makes sense. No shortcuts, just new paths. She leans over the screen, watching as Malik types in a problem and Neon spits out clean step-by-step solutions. Her tired eyes widen slightly. You built this? Every line, Malik says quietly. Tasha exhales, her voice soft. Then maybe strangers will care. Because this isn't just genius, Malik. This is you proving them wrong. At school, the robotics team rallies around him. Jada, the team's coder, helps debug Neon's interface. Luis, the builder, rigs a monitor display so Malik can showcase the program live. Even though most of them don't understand his math, they believe in him because Patel does. Still, the pressure builds. On Thursday, as Malik packs up after class, Reynolds corners him. "You think a science fair changes anything?" Reynolds asks, voice low, eyes hard. "One flashy presentation won't erase the fact that you don't follow rules." Malik grips the strap of his backpack tighter. If the rules are wrong, maybe they need to change. Reynolds leans closer, his breath sharp. "Careful, Carter. Kids like you who think they're special usually learn the hard way they're not." Malik meets his eyes. For the first time, he doesn't flinch. "We'll see." By Friday night, Malik is running on fumes. His room is a mess of notebooks, energy drink cans, and half-eaten bags of chips. The laptop screen glows as Neon runs test after test. At 2 a.m., a bug crashes the program. Malik buries his face in his hands. His mom knocks softly and enters, setting a glass of water on his desk. "Still at it?" "I have to be ready," Malik mutters. "If I crash on stage..." Tasha sits on the edge of his bed. "Baby, you're already ready. The fact you built this at all, that's the victory. Don't let them trick you into thinking you need their approval to be great." Malik lifts his head slowly, her words sinking in. She doesn't always understand his math, but she understands him. That's enough to keep him going. Saturday morning arrives like a jolt. The school gymnasium is transformed into a science fair battlefield. Rows of tables lined with trifold boards, blinking lights, and ambitious students in pressed shirts. Judges with clipboards roam the aisles, scribbling notes. Malik's booth sits near the back, a plain table, a monitor hooked up to his laptop, and a clean white poster board with bold letters. Neon, a new approach to calculus. He smooths the edges nervously, checking the wires again. Ms. Patel appears at his side, dressed sharp and smiling. "Looks perfect. Just remember, don't try to impress them. Just show them. The work will do the rest." Malik nods, palms sweating. He glances across the gym and freezes. Mr. Reynolds is there. Not as a judge, but standing near the entrance, arms crossed, eyes locked on Malik's booth. Malik's pulse quickens. Of course he came. He wants to see Malik fail. Ms. Patel notices him too. Her jaw tightens. She leans close to Malik and whispers, "Let him watch. When you're done, he'll wish he hadn't." The first judge arrives. A woman in her 40s, glasses perched on her nose, clipboard in hand. "So, Malik Carter, tell me about Neon." Malik swallows, then launches into his explanation. His voice wavers at first, but as he demonstrates the program, typing in a problem, watching Neon unravel it step by step, something shifts. The judge leans closer, intrigued. "You coded this yourself?" she asks. "Yes, ma'am, every line." She nods slowly, scribbling notes. "Impressive. Very impressive." When she leaves, Malik exhales shakily. He looks up. Reynolds is still watching, but for the first time, Malik doesn't feel small under his gaze. Because this time, the truth is on display, and it can't be erased with a red pen. The gym grows louder as more parents, students, and judges file in. The air hums with the sound of projectors whirring, robots clanking, and nervous voices pitching ideas. Malik stands behind his booth, hands resting on the edge of the table, trying to steady himself. After the first judge, more arrive. A pair of graduate students scribbling notes, a district STEM coordinator, even a math professor from the local university. Each one asks questions, and each time Malik demonstrates Neon, his confidence grows. "Try this one," a professor says, scribbling an equation on paper. It's long, intimidating, full of trig substitutions and limits. Malik types it in. Neon processes for 3 seconds, then fills the screen with elegant steps and a clean final answer. The professor's eyes widen. "You wrote this entire solver yourself?" "Yes, sir. I wanted a system that thinks differently, not just follows a textbook algorithm." The professor chuckles, shaking his head. "I've seen PhD students who couldn't write code this sophisticated." "Remarkable." He scribbles furiously on his clipboard before moving on. The robotics team cheers from across the gym. Ms. Patel gives Malik a proud nod. For the first time all week, Malik feels like the weight of Reynolds' accusations is lifting. But Reynolds is still there, standing by the bleachers, arms crossed, watching every move with narrowed eyes. Malik tries to ignore him, but the knot in his stomach tightens. During a break, Ms. Patel pulls Malik aside. "You're killing it out there. The judges are impressed." Malik exhales. "Yeah, but Reynolds hasn't moved. He's just waiting." "Let him wait," she says. "The more you shine, the smaller he gets." Malik nods, but he can't shake the feeling that Reynolds isn't just here to watch. He's planning something. The next round of judging is more intense. A man in a gray suit approaches, his badge reading District Science Coordinator. He peers at Malik's setup with skeptical eyes. "So this is Neon. I've heard some chatter already. Mind giving me the pitch?" Malik launches into his explanation, showing how Neon can solve complex calculus problems step by step. The coordinator listens, expression unreadable. When Malik finishes, the man frowns. "It's impressive, but tell me this. How do we know you actually wrote this code? A program like this could easily be downloaded or copied." Malik freezes. His heart jumps to his throat. That's exactly the accusation Reynolds planted. Before he can respond, Reynolds steps forward from the crowd, voice smooth but sharp. "That's the real question, isn't it? This boy already tried to pass off stolen methods as his own in my class. Now he's putting on a show for judges. It's convenient, don't you think?" Gasps ripple through the nearby students and parents. Malik's face burns hot. "That's not true," he says quickly. "I can prove I wrote it. I have every line of code saved, every version, every bug fix." He opens his laptop, scrolling through files. "See the timestamps? The commits? This is months of work." Reynolds scoffs. "Anyone can fake timestamps." The coordinator raises a hand. "All right, calm down. Malik, can you demonstrate building a function on the spot? Something simple, but new?" Malik swallows hard. His fingers hover over the keyboard. This is it. One mistake, and Reynolds wins. He starts typing. A fresh function. Custom series limit. He codes quickly, explaining as he goes. This generates a Fourier series approximation for any input function, step by step. Watch. He inputs a sine curve. Neon outputs the series expansion, coefficients neatly aligned. The coordinator leans closer, eyes narrowing, then widening. This is live coding." He looks at Reynolds. "You can't fake this." Reynolds' face flushes. "Still, there's no guarantee he didn't memorize it." "Memorize this?" Malik interrupts, anger finally breaking through. He adds another layer, expanding Neon's interface to graph the output in real time. A smooth curve appears on the monitor, aligning perfectly with the series approximation. The coordinator smiles slightly. "That's enough. Thank you, Malik." The crowd around the booth claps softly. Students whisper, impressed. Reynolds steps back, jaw tight, his plan backfiring in front of everyone. As the coordinator moves on, Ms. Patel leans close to Malik, whispering, "You just destroyed him. Keep going. You've got this." Malik nods, adrenaline still pumping. For the first time, he sees something in Reynolds' eyes he's never seen before. Not disdain, not smugness, but fear. By the afternoon, the fair is buzzing with talk about Neon. Some call it the highlight of the event. Judges circle back for second looks. A local reporter with a camera crew even stops by, asking Malik for a quick interview. "What inspired you to create this?" the reporter asks, microphone in his face. Malik glances at Reynolds across the room, then back at the camera. "I just wanted to prove there's more than one way to solve a problem, and that sometimes the rules that limit us aren't always right." The reporter smiles, clearly sensing the weight behind his words. Well said. When the fair finally winds down, Malik is exhausted but glowing. Ms. Patel claps him on the back. "No matter what the judges decide, you won today. Reynolds can't erase what they saw." Malik glances toward the bleachers. Reynolds is gone. But deep down, Malik knows this isn't over. Reynolds isn't the type to back down quietly. And as Malik packs up his laptop, one thought keeps circling in his mind. If they hate me for being smart, then I'll make it impossible to ignore me. By the time the fair ends, the gym is buzzing with speculation. Judges huddle in small groups, comparing notes. Students pack up their boards, chattering about who might win. Malik sits at his booth, exhausted, his fingers drumming nervously on the table. Neon's monitor still glows beside him, the program idling like a heartbeat. Ms. Patel leans down. "You did everything you could. Now it's up to them." Malik nods, but the knot in his stomach only tightens. He keeps picturing Reynolds' face when he live-coded the Fourier expansion, the fear in his eyes. That wasn't the look of surrender. It was the look of someone plotting their next move. At the front of the gym, the head judge, a middle-aged woman with sharp glasses, taps the microphone. The room quiets. "Thank you all for your hard work today. We saw extraordinary projects, from renewable energy prototypes to biomedical breakthroughs. But one presentation stood out for its originality, rigor, and potential impact." The silence thickens. Malik's pulse hammers. This year's first-place award goes to Malik Carter for his project Neon, a new approach to calculus. Applause erupts, students cheer. Some clap politely, others whisper in disbelief. Ms. Patel whoops loudly, and Malik's mom, standing in the crowd after rushing from work, wipes her eyes with trembling hands. Malik walks to the front, legs shaking, and accepts the medal and certificate. Flashbulbs pop as a reporter takes photos. The head judge shakes his hand. "What you've built, young man, could change how we teach math. Don't stop here." For a brief moment, the weight lifts. Malik smiles, shoulders unburdened. He sees his mom beaming, Ms. Patel clapping, the robotics team cheering. For once, he isn't invisible. But then, across the gym, Reynolds stands near the exit, arms folded, lips pressed in a thin line. He doesn't clap. He doesn't smile. His eyes lock on Malik with quiet fury before he turns and leaves. Malik's chest tightens again. He knows the celebration won't last. That evening, Malik and his mom sit at their kitchen table with takeout containers spread out. For once they're celebrating. Noodles, fried chicken, soda. Tasha sets the medal in the center of the table like it's a trophy. "I told you," she says, pride thick in her voice. "They can't deny the truth forever." Malik pokes at his food, still uneasy. "Maybe, but Reynolds isn't done. I saw his face. He's going to try something else." Tasha sets down her fork. "Then we stay ready. He may have power in that classroom, but he doesn't own your future. Not if you keep shining like you did today." Malik nods slowly, but inside, he feels the storm brewing. On Monday morning, Malik walks into calculus class, medal tucked discreetly into his backpack. The room goes quiet for a moment, then whispers start up. Some students smirk. Others look impressed. Reynolds enters, slamming his briefcase onto the desk. He doesn't mention the science fair. He doesn't acknowledge Malik's win. Instead, he launches into a lecture about academic dishonesty and the importance of humility. Malik grips his pencil tightly, refusing to let his face show anything. Reynolds wants a reaction. He won't get one. After class, Reynolds stops him at the door. "Enjoy your little ribbon?" he asks, voice low. Malik meets his gaze calmly. "It's a medal, and I earned it." Reynolds leans closer, voice a hiss. "Don't get cocky. One fair doesn't change the system. You're still my student. You'll play by my rules." Malik shoulders his backpack. Or maybe the system needs new rules. For a split second, Reynolds' mask cracks. A flash of rage, quickly buried. "Careful, Carter. I can make your life very difficult." Malik walks away without looking back, though his heart pounds. At lunch, Malik sits with Jada and Luis from the robotics team. They're buzzing with excitement. "Dude, the professor who judged you? He asked Patel for your contact info. He might want to recommend you for a summer research program," Jada says. Malik blinks. "Wait, seriously?" Luis grins. "Told you Neon wasn't just a project, it's a ticket." The thought both excites and scares Malik. Opportunity is opening, but he knows Reynolds will try to slam the door shut. That evening, as Malik works on Neon in his room, an email notification pops up. He clicks it and freezes. Subject: Academic Misconduct Review. It's from Principal Harris. The email states that Malik's work is under formal investigation due to concerns raised by faculty. He is required to attend a hearing with the school board next week. Malik's chest clenches. His hands shake as he rereads the words. There's no doubt who filed the complaint. His mom hears the chair scrape and rushes in. "What happened?" Malik shows her the email. Tasha's face hardens, fury rising. "He couldn't beat you at the fair, so now he's trying to bury you on paper." Malik slams the laptop shut. "If the board believes him, my record's ruined. Colleges won't even look at me." Tasha kneels beside him, gripping his hands. "Listen to me, Malik. You fought once, you can fight again. You have Patel, your team, your work. They can't erase what's real." Malik stares at her, determination slowly replacing fear. The medal gleams on his desk under the lamplight, a reminder of the victory Reynolds couldn't take away. He whispers, more to himself than anyone, Then we'll prove it again, this time louder. The news spreads through the school like wildfire. Malik Carter is under review for academic misconduct. By Tuesday morning, the whispers are louder than ever. Some students glance at him with pity, others with smug satisfaction. Tyler, never missing a chance, mutters, "Guess the fair wind doesn't matter if you get expelled." Malik keeps walking, jaw clenched. He refuses to give them the satisfaction of seeing him flinch, but inside, anxiety gnaws at him. A school board hearing isn't just a slap on the wrist. It's official, permanent. If they brand him a cheater, every college application, every scholarship, every future door will slam shut. At lunch, he sits with Ms. Patel and the robotics team in the lab. Spread across the table are stacks of Malik's notebooks, flash drives, and copies of Neon's code. Patel paces like a lawyer prepping for trial. "They'll want documentation," she says. "Not just that Neon works, but that you built it. Version histories, commit logs, timestamps, anything that proves it's yours." Jada flips through the notebooks. "These margins are insane. You've got derivations here from months ago." "Exactly," Patel says. "We'll organize them into a timeline. The judges at the fair already saw you live code, but we need a mountain of evidence the board can't ignore." Malik rubs his temples. "Even if we do, what if Reynolds twists it? He's respected. I'm just a kid." Patel stops pacing, her eyes burning. "You're not just a kid. You're the student who built something revolutionary. And Reynolds is terrified of that. He'll try to drown you in lies, but lies don't hold up against proof. We'll bury him with the truth." That night, Malik and his mom spread everything across the kitchen table. Papers, USB drives, his laptop open with Neon's repository displayed. Tasha organizes pages while Malik annotates his notes, explaining connections. "You see this?" he says, pointing at a messy page full of formulas. "That was the night I figured out how to apply Hessians to substitution problems. It's all here, mistakes, corrections, the whole process." Tasha nods, sorting pages into folders. "We'll show them you didn't just pull this out of thin air. You earned it." Malik looks up at her. "What if they still don't believe me?" She meets his eyes, voice steady. "Then we fight again, and again. Because that's what we do. We don't quit." Wednesday, Ms. Patel calls in a favor. Professor Lee, the university mathematician who judged the fair, agrees to meet Malik after school. They sit in his office, walls lined with books, chalkboards full of dense equations. Malik nervously opens Neon and demonstrates the program. He explains his methods, fumbling at times, but Lee listens carefully, occasionally scribbling notes. Finally, Lee leans back, impressed. "This is astonishing. You've essentially built an undergraduate-level computer algebra system tailored to calculus. And you're how old? 17?" Malik nods. Lee shakes his head. "If the board questions your originality, I'll testify. I saw you live code at the fair. I'll vouch for you." Relief washes over Malik. "Thank you, sir." "Don't thank me," Lee says. "Just promise you won't let small minds keep you from greatness." Meanwhile, Reynolds is busy too. Late at night, in his office, he crafts his case. He gathers screenshots of suspiciously advanced methods, prints out accusations of plagiarism from obscure online forums, and frames Malik's brilliance as too polished to be credible. He rehearses his speech. "I've taught for 20 years. I know when a student is out of their depth. This isn't genius. It's deception." Reynolds stares at his reflection in the window, jaw clenched. To him, this isn't just about Malik. It's about control. If Malik wins, it means Reynolds isn't the smartest man in the room anymore, and he refuses to accept that. By Thursday night, Malik feels the pressure crushing him. He sits at his desk, metal gleaming beside his laptop, while lines of code blur together. His phone buzzes. A message from Patel. "Board hearings are political. Bring facts, but also bring fire. Don't just prove them wrong. Make them ashamed they ever doubted you." Malik stares at the screen, the words sinking deep. For days he's been preparing like it's math homework. But Patel is right. This isn't just about solving equations. It's about proving his worth as a human being. Worth Reynolds tried to erase. He opens a blank document and begins typing an opening statement. His voice, his story. Not just numbers, but the truth of what it felt like to be dismissed, humiliated, and then forced to prove himself again and again. When he finishes, his hands shake. But for the first time in days, not from fear, from resolve. Friday morning, the email arrives. "Board hearing. Monday, 4 p.m. The countdown begins. Malik looks at his mom, who's already dressed for another long shift. She kisses his forehead. Baby, whatever happens Monday, you've already won in my eyes. Don't let them take that from you. Malik shoulders his backpack, eyes hard. They won't, not this time. Monday arrives heavy and gray. Rain streaks the windows of the district building as Malik and his mom step out of the car. His backpack feels heavier than ever, crammed with notebooks, USB drives, and a printed copy of Neon's entire source code. Beside him, Ms. Patel walks briskly, holding her own folder of notes. You've got this, she says firmly, her voice cutting through the drizzle. Remember, facts first, fire second. Let the truth burn through their lies. Inside, the district office feels sterile. Beige walls, humming lights, the faint smell of disinfectant. A secretary ushers them into a conference room. Long wooden table. 5 board members seated at the far end, their faces unreadable. Principal Harris sits to the side, stiff and cautious. And at the other end, with papers stacked neatly in front of him, sits Reynolds. His smile is thin, confident, rehearsed. Malik swallows hard as they sit. His mom squeezes his hand under the table. The chairwoman clears her throat. We are here to review allegations of academic misconduct concerning student Malik Carter. Mr. Reynolds, as the reporting faculty, you may begin. Reynolds rises smoothly, voice practiced. Thank you. I've taught mathematics for over 2 decades. I know when a student demonstrates understanding, and I know when something doesn't add up. Malik's recent work is beyond the scope of a high schooler. His methods are lifted from advanced research. His program, Neon, is too sophisticated to be original. It is my professional judgment that Malik has either plagiarized or received outside assistance. He slides papers across the table, printouts of online math forums, screenshots of advanced theorems. Here are examples nearly identical to his methods. It is unlikely he produced them alone. The board members murmur, flipping through the pages. Reynolds continues. I don't take pleasure in this, but standards matter. If we allow dishonesty, we undermine every honest student. He sits satisfied, like a prosecutor who just delivered a closing argument. Malik feels heat rising in his chest. For a moment, fear grips him, but then he remembers Patel's words. Facts first, fire second. May I respond? Malik asks. The chairwoman nods. Proceed. Malik stands, his voice trembling at first but steadying as he speaks. Mr. Reynolds is right about one thing. My methods aren't normal. They are different, but different isn't cheating. Different is discovery. He opens his backpack and pulls out his notebooks, setting them in a stack that nearly topples. These are months of work. Every proof, every mistake, every correction. You can see the progression, page by page. He flips to a worn section. Here, this is where I failed over and over before Neon worked. You don't fake mistakes, you live them. He plugs in his laptop, projecting Neon onto the screen. This isn't downloaded. This is mine. Every version is timestamped. Every commit log is saved. He scrolls through lines of code. Look at the dates. Look at the changes. If I stole this, why would there be hundreds of revisions, bugs, fixes? A board member leans forward, intrigued. Malik's confidence grows. He types quickly, writing a new function live. Let's test it now. I'll build something on the spot. On screen, the function compiles. Neon spits out results, step by step. Malik explains each line, his voice sharp, clear. No internet, no tricks, just me and the code I wrote. Reynolds jumps in, desperate. He could have memorized that. Anyone can type fast. But before the board can respond, Professor Lee steps into the room. His presence draws a stir. The university mathematician invited by Patel. I was a judge at the science fair, Lee says firmly. I watched this student build functions live. I've reviewed his work personally. It is authentic. Frankly, it's graduate-level thinking. To suggest he stole it is not just false, it's insulting. The board members exchange glances. Reynolds' composure cracks, a bead of sweat forming on his forehead. Malik doesn't waste the moment. He takes a breath, then delivers his fire. This isn't just about math. This is about being told people like me can't possibly be this smart, that if I succeed, it must be cheating. Mr. Reynolds didn't fail me because my answers were wrong. He failed me because he couldn't accept that I was right. His voice breaks slightly, but he presses on. I built Neon to make math less frightening. to show there's more than one path to a solution. And if that threatens the system, maybe the system needs to change. But don't call me a cheater just because I refuse to stay small. The room falls silent. His mom wipes her eyes. Patel beams with pride. The chairwoman finally speaks. We've heard enough. We will deliberate briefly. The board members step into an adjacent room. Reynolds avoids eye contact, shuffling his papers. Malik sits, hands trembling, waiting. Minutes feel like hours. When they return, the chairwoman clears her throat. After reviewing the evidence, the board finds no grounds for academic misconduct. Malik Carter's work is authentic, original, and deserving of recognition. Malik exhales, nearly collapsing with relief. His mom squeezes his hand, tears streaming. Patel's smile is triumphant, but the chairwoman isn't done. She fixes Reynolds with a hard stare. Mr. Reynolds, your handling of this case raises concerns. Targeting a student without sufficient evidence is unacceptable. We will be reviewing your conduct separately. Reynolds' face pales. He opens his mouth, then shuts it. Malik looks at him, not with fear, but with something new. Power. For the first time, Reynolds is the one shrinking under scrutiny. The morning after the hearing, Malik walks into school with his backpack slung over one shoulder, the medal tucked safely inside. The air feels different. Students who once whispered cheater now glance at him with curiosity, even respect. Some still sneer, but fewer than before. Word spreads fast. The board cleared Malik, and Reynolds is under investigation. At his locker, Jada and Luis greet him with wide grins. Dude, you're officially a legend, Luis says. You crushed him in front of the whole board. Not gonna lie, Jada adds. That speech gave me chills. Malik laughs softly, though his stomach is still knotted. Victory doesn't erase the scars, but it feels good. Thanks, but this isn't over. Reynolds won't just disappear. In calculus class, Reynolds walks in late. His usual commanding stride is slower, heavier. The room falls into a hushed silence. He doesn't meet Malik's eyes as he sets his briefcase on the desk. Open your books to page 312, Reynolds mutters, his voice stripped of its usual arrogance. Students glance at each other, shocked. This isn't the Reynolds they know. No lectures about integrity, no cutting remarks, just a man going through motions. Malik sits quietly, pencil in hand. He should feel triumphant, but instead he feels a strange mix of pity and defiance. He's seen Reynolds crack, and it's not satisfying so much as sobering. The man who tried to crush him is now the one shrinking. Still, Malik keeps his head down. He knows better than to think Reynolds is finished. At lunch, Malik sits with Ms. Patel in the robotics lab. She sets down a newspaper. The local section has a small article about the science fair with Malik's name in bold. You see this? She says, tapping the headline. Your story's already spreading. The board ruling didn't just protect you, it put you on the map. Malik reads the article, heart pounding. It paints him as a rising star, a student genius. But he frowns. What if it just makes Reynolds hate me more? What if it makes others jealous? Patel leans forward. Malik, genius always attracts enemies. That's the price of changing the world. The question is, will you let them stop you? He shakes his head slowly. No. Good. Patel smiles. Then it's time to think bigger. Beyond this school. Beyond Reynolds. That evening at home, Malik sits with his mom at the kitchen table again. She stirs sugar into her tea, watching him. You're quiet, she says. What's going on in that head? Malik shrugs. I won, but it feels like just one battle. What if another teacher, another system, tries to do the same thing? Tasha reaches across the table, gripping his hand. Then you fight again. But remember this, you don't fight alone anymore. You've got Patel, your team, that professor, and me, always me. Malik nods, the weight easing a little. Later that night, Malik opens his laptop. Neon's code glows on the screen, lines of logic stretching like endless staircases. He scrolls, remembering the late nights, the frustration, the breakthroughs. He thinks about the boardroom, about Reynolds' accusations, about the moment the board sided with him. And then he thinks about Patel's words, think bigger. He opens a blank file and types a title, Neon 2.0, Beyond Calculus. The idea sparks in his mind, expanding Neon to handle physics problems, maybe even statistics, tools that could open doors for students everywhere. His fingers itch to begin. But before he can dive in, his phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. Congrats on your little win. Enjoy it while it lasts. Malik stares at the screen, pulse quickening. He doesn't need a signature to know who it's from. Reynolds. The next day, Malik finds Reynolds waiting in the hallway after class. His voice is low, venomous. You embarrassed me. Do you think the board's ruling changes what happens here? This is my classroom, my school. Malik meets his gaze, steady. No, it's our school. And the truth's bigger than you now. Reynolds' jaw tightens, but before he can reply, a group of students pass by, whispering Malik's name, pointing, even clapping him on the back. Reynolds' face reddens. For the first time, his authority is slipping in front of his own students. Malik walks away, heart pounding, realizing something vital. Reynolds is losing control not just of him, but of the narrative. By Friday, rumors swirl that Reynolds might face suspension. Some say he'll retire early, others whisper he'll fight the district. Malik hears it all, but keeps working quietly in the robotics lab, surrounded by teammates who now look at him not just as a friend, but as a leader. Ms. Patel places a hand on his shoulder. This isn't the end, Malik. It's the beginning. You've proven yourself once. Now let's see how far you can go. Malik nods, determination hardening in his chest, because deep down, he knows she's right. Reynolds may still be a threat, but Malik has crossed a line. He's not the quiet kid they could dismiss anymore. He's the student who stood up, fought back, and won. And he's not stopping there. By Monday morning, the school feels like a different world. Malik can't walk down the hall without hearing his name. Some students congratulate him, others stare in awe, and a few whisper behind his back. The board ruling has turned him from the cheater into the kid who beat Reynolds, but Malik knows the spotlight is double-edged. Attention brings opportunity and enemies. In the robotics lab, the team crowds around his laptop. Jada points at the code. If you can expand neon into physics, we could dominate the state competition. Luis grins. Or sell it. Dude, colleges would fight over this. Malik shakes his head. I don't want it to just be a trophy. It should be for everyone. Kids who hate math, kids who get left behind, this could help them. Ms. Patel listens from across the room, arms folded, smiling faintly. That's the vision, Malik. Not just to impress, but to impact. If you really mean that, we need to think about publishing, or even pitching this beyond school. The words make Malik's chest tighten. Publishing, pitching, big leagues. He wants it, but he also knows Reynolds isn't done. Sure enough, later that day, Malik is called to Principal Harris's office. He walks in to find Harris grim-faced, with Reynolds already seated, a thin smile plastered on his face. Malik, Harris begins cautiously, we've received further concerns. Malik stiffens. From who? Reynolds clears his throat. From colleagues in the district. Word of Malik's project has spread, and some question whether it's truly his. They think perhaps he had outside help, a tutor, or someone writing code for him. Malik's fists clench at his sides. That's not true. You saw the hearing. The board already ruled. Reynolds shrugs. Boards can be mistaken. If the district escalates, it could go higher. State-level review. Harris shifts uncomfortably. I want to believe you, Malik. But understand, scrutiny only grows with success. Malik's throat tightens, anger bubbling. He's cleared his name once, yet the shadow of doubt refuses to lift. As he leaves the office, Reynolds leans back, smirking. Enjoy the fame, Carter. The higher you climb, the harder the fall. That night, Malik vents to his mom. He paces the living room, fists waving. He won't stop. Every time I prove myself, he finds a new way to tear me down. Tasha listens patiently, then sets down her tea. Baby, you think this fight is just about him. It's not. Reynolds represents every person who'll try to keep you small. You can't spend your life fighting just him. You've got to outgrow him. Malik stops pacing, her words sinking in. Outgrow him. Not just win, but rise so far above that Reynolds' claws can't reach. On Wednesday, opportunity comes knocking. Professor Lee emails Ms. Patel. A university research lab wants Malik to present neon at a regional symposium. It's the kind of event where graduate students present their work, not high school seniors. Malik stares at the email, stunned. Me? At a university? Patel beams. Yes, you. They don't care about your age. They care about brilliance. This is your chance to show the world. Excitement surges, but so does fear. What if Reynolds tries to interfere? Patel's smile hardens. Then let him. He can't stop what's already bigger than him. Meanwhile, Reynolds seethes in his classroom after hours. The whispers in the hall sting. Students no longer fear him. Parents call the office demanding answers, and the district's eyes are on him. He stares at Malik's name in the paper, the headline about the board ruling. Rage coils in his chest. If Malik shines at a symposium, Reynolds' reputation crumbles for good. He begins drafting an email to contacts in the district, framing Malik as a manipulated pawn, suggesting Patel and even Professor Lee are exploiting him for publicity. His fingers fly across the keys, desperation fueling every word. Back at home, Malik works late into the night, refining Neon's code. He adds new modules, smoother interfaces, visual graphs. Each line is another shield against doubt, another brick in the tower he's building beyond Reynolds' reach. But exhaustion creeps in. At 2 a.m., he collapses on his bed, the glow of the laptop still burning across his room. He dreams of standing before a massive auditorium, hundreds of eyes on him. At the back, Reynolds lurks in the shadows, waiting to strike. Malik's chest pounds, but then Patel, his mom, his team step into the light behind him. The shadow fades. He wakes with sweat on his brow, heart racing, but with resolve burning stronger than ever. Friday, Ms. Patel gathers Malik and the team. The symposium is in 2 weeks. That gives us time to prepare, polish, and anticipate pushback, because make no mistake, someone will try to tear this down. Malik nods. Let them try. This time, I won't just defend myself. I'll make it undeniable. His voice rings sharper than ever, and even Jada and Luis exchange impressed glances. Malik isn't just surviving anymore. He's leading. 2 weeks. That's all Malik has before the symposium. 2 weeks to take Neon from a science fair project to something sharp enough to withstand scrutiny from university researchers, professors, and grad students who've spent years in the field. The robotics lab becomes his second home. Every afternoon, Malik huddles with his laptop, refining Neon's code while Jada and Luis run test problems and Patel acts as coach, asking hard questions. Don't just show them the results, she reminds him. Explain why it matters. Why Neon is different. People at this level don't just want answers, they want vision. Malik nods, though his nerves buzz. Vision. That word carries weight. He spent so long proving he wasn't a fraud, he hasn't thought about how to present himself as a pioneer. At home, his mom keeps him grounded. She insists he eat, sleep, and take breaks. Baby, you can't carry the world if you burn out first, she says, setting down a plate of food beside his laptop. He smiles, grateful. Thanks, Mom, but this feels bigger than me now. It is bigger, she replies softly, but that doesn't mean you have to face it alone. Her words stick with him. Meanwhile, Reynolds isn't idle. Late at night in his classroom, he crafts a presentation of his own, a dossier designed to undermine Malik. He combs through obscure math blogs, clipping anything that vaguely resembles Neon's methods. He highlights phrases like suspicious similarities and drafts letters to state officials warning of academic dishonesty being rewarded at the district level. His obsession festers. If Malik shines at the symposium, Reynolds' grip on authority snaps for good. He mutters to himself, "Not on my watch." The days blur together. By the end of the first week, Malik has restructured Neon's interface. Now it doesn't just solve problems, it visualizes them. Input a derivative, and a curve appears in real time. Ask for an integral, and Neon shades the area under the curve. Jada whistles when she sees it. That's not just a tool, that's teaching. Luis adds, "You realize you're building something schools could actually use, right?" Malik shrugs, though pride swells inside. That's the point. Still, doubts creep in at night. He scrolls through research papers online, realizing how vast the field is. Compared to PhD students, Neon feels small. What if they laugh? He mutters to himself. Patel's voice echoes in his mind. Don't just show results, show vision. Saturday, Professor Lee invites Malik to campus for a practice run. The lecture hall intimidates him. Rows of seats rising high, chalkboards stretching across the wall. Lee sits in the front row, arms folded. Go, Lee says simply. Malik launches into his presentation, voice shaky at first. He stumbles, forgets a line, but keeps going. By the time he demonstrates Neon's visual graphing, confidence returns. Lee nods slowly when Malik finishes. Not bad, but you're too defensive. You're bracing for attack instead of leading the room. Show them you believe in this. Malik frowns. But what if they don't? Lee leans forward. Then convince them. Genius isn't about never being doubted. It's about daring them to keep doubting after you've shown them the truth. The words strike Malik deep. He leaves campus with resolve burning brighter. Back at school, whispers swirl. Some students cheer Malik on, proud of their genius. Others spread Reynolds's rumors. That Malik stole neon, that Patel wrote it, that even Professor Lee is covering for him. One afternoon in the hallway, Tyler sneers, "Bet the symposium laughs you out the door." Malik clenches his jaw but keeps walking. He's learned not to waste energy on every jab. Reynolds's fingerprints are all over these rumors, but Malik knows the truth will speak louder soon. By Thursday, fatigue sets in. Malik's eyes blur as he stares at the laptop, neon's code swimming. He pushes his chair back, groaning. His mom appears in the doorway. "Break, now." "I can't," he protests. "I need this perfect." She crosses her arms. "Perfect doesn't exist, but you're enough. Remember that." Malik exhales, shoulders sagging. She's right. Perfection isn't the goal. Impact is. That weekend, the robotics team throws him a mini mock symposium in the lab. Students take turns grilling him with tough questions. What about error margins? What makes this different from Wolfram Alpha? Why should we trust your code? At first, Malik stumbles, but slowly he sharpens his answers. By the end, he's smiling, firing back with clarity and conviction. Luis grins. "If you can handle us, you can handle anyone." Patel nods approvingly. "Now you're leading, Malik. That's the version the world needs to see." On Sunday night, Malik sits alone at his desk. The medal from the fair hangs beside his lamp. His notebooks are stacked neatly. Neon hums on the screen, waiting. He whispers to himself, "This isn't about proving Reynolds wrong anymore. This is about proving what's possible." The countdown is almost over. In less than 24 hours, he'll step onto a stage far bigger than a high school gym. And this time, he won't just defend, he'll declare. The day dawns bright and clear, but Malik barely notices the sunlight streaming through his window. His stomach is in knots. He checks his backpack 3 times. Laptop, USB backup, printed notes, even his notebooks with handwritten equations. His mom fusses over his shirt collar, smoothing it flat. "You look sharp," she says, her eyes full of pride. "Remember, they're lucky to hear you." Malik forces a smile. "Thanks, Mom." At school, Patel is already waiting with the robotics team. They pile into a van headed for the university. The ride feels endless, Malik's mind spinning with every possible failure. What if the program crashes? What if he blanks? What if the professors dismiss him as a kid? Patel catches his eye. "Stop running scenarios in your head. Focus on the one that matters. You stepping up and owning your genius." Malik nods, breathing deeply, though the nerves stay. The university symposium is buzzing when they arrive. Students in blazers carry poster boards, professors mingle with clipboards, and grad students cluster in groups. Malik feels small, out of place. Everyone here looks older, more confident. But then Professor Lee spots him. "Malik!" He waves them over. "Glad you made it. You're on the schedule right after lunch." Malik swallows hard. "Right." As they wait, Malik sits in the lecture hall, listening to others present. Projects range from machine learning models to experimental physics. Some sound dazzling, others dense and hard to follow. Each applause feels like a reminder. Soon it'll be his turn. At 1 p.m., the moderator announces, "Next up, Malik Carter presenting Neon, a new approach to calculus." The hall quiets. Malik walks to the podium, legs shaky but steadying as he grips the lectern. He plugs in his laptop, the screen projecting behind him. "Good afternoon," he begins, voice soft but gaining strength. "My name is Malik Carter. I'm a high school senior. Today I want to show you something I built not just to solve problems, but to change how we learn math." A ripple runs through the audience, a high school senior. Malik opens Neon. On screen, its clean interface glows. This is Neon. It doesn't just compute, it teaches. Watch. He types an integral. Neon solves it step by step, then displays a shaded graph. Gasps ripple through the room. Malik's confidence grows. For many students, math feels like a wall. Neon turns that wall into a window. It doesn't just give answers, it shows why they're right. He demonstrates Fourier expansions, substitution, differential equations, each with visual outputs. Questions come from the audience, sharp and skeptical. Malik answers with clarity, sometimes pulling up his notebooks to show his progression. His voice grows stronger with each exchange. By the time he finishes, the room bursts into applause. Real applause, not polite clapping. Malik exhales, a weight lifting. He did it. But as the applause fades, a voice cuts through. "Excuse me." Reynolds stands at the back of the hall. He's not on the program, but he's holding a folder thick with papers. His presence draws murmurs. "I'm Robert Reynolds," he announces. "Malik's calculus teacher. Before you rush to crown him a prodigy, you should know his project has questionable origins." Gasps fill the room. Patel shoots to her feet. "This is inappropriate." But Reynolds strides forward, ignoring her. He waves his papers. "I have evidence. Blogs, forums, published work that mirrors his so-called original code. He's a good performer, I'll grant that. But this is smoke and mirrors." The room shifts uncomfortably. Eyes turn back to Malik. His throat tightens. For a moment, fear grips him again. But then he remembers Patel's words. "Facts first, fire second." He steps back to the podium. "Mr. Reynolds is right about one thing," he says firmly. "There are forums, papers, ideas that look similar. Because that's how knowledge works. It builds on what came before. But Neon isn't a copy. It's my creation." He flips to his notebooks, pages marked with messy equations, errors, corrections. "Here's months of progress, mistakes you can't fake. These aren't from blogs, they're mine." He reopens Neon, typing a new problem live. And here's something Neon has never solved before. Watch. Lines of code fly. The program processes, then outputs a solution with a clear graph. The room leans forward, impressed. "Plagiarism doesn't adapt on the spot," Malik continues. "Plagiarism doesn't grow with you. Neon is alive because I built it to learn as I learned." The hall falls silent. Reynolds flushes, his grip on the papers trembling. He must have had help. But Professor Lee rises, voice booming. "Enough! I've reviewed his work personally. This young man is authentic. To stand here, accuse him in front of your peers is disgraceful." Applause erupts again, louder this time, pointedly drowning Reynolds out. Afterward, Malik steps off stage, Patel gripping his shoulder. "You didn't just survive, Malik. You owned it. No one will ever forget what they saw today." His mom hugs him tight, whispering, "You shined, baby, brighter than they could ever dim." Across the hall, Reynolds slips away, his folder clutched uselessly at his side. For the first time, Malik doesn't watch him go. Because for the first time, Reynolds doesn't matter. The symposium ends, but its impact lingers like a wave rolling outward. By the next morning, Malik's phone won't stop buzzing. Emails, social media mentions, even texts from classmates who once mocked him now read, "Dude, you killed it." A video of his presentation circulates online, uploaded by a student journalist. Within hours, views climb into the thousands. Clips of Neon solving problems with step-by-step visuals flood Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Hashtags appear, #NeonMath. Malik scrolls through comments with wide eyes. "Where can I download this? This kid's in high school? Finally, math I can understand." He feels dizzy. For weeks he's fought just to prove he's not a fraud. Now strangers call him a genius. At school, the atmosphere shifts completely. Jada and Luis greet him with mock bows. "All hail the math king," Luis teases. "Seriously though," Jada adds, "you're trending. You could probably walk into MIT tomorrow and they'd roll out a red carpet." Malik laughs nervously. "Let's not get carried away." But deep down, a spark ignites. Maybe they're not wrong. Even students who once avoided him approach with cautious admiration. Tyler, the loudest skeptic, mutters, "Not bad, Carter," before walking off. It's not an apology, but it's close. But not everyone is impressed. Reynolds enters calculus class late, eyes red-rimmed, jaw tight. He says nothing, just writes problems on the board. The students' attention isn't on him anymore. It's on Malik. Every glance, every whisper erodes his authority further. At lunch, Patel pulls Malik aside. "We need to talk about what comes next. Universities will want to see your work. There are grants, scholarships, even investors who might contact you." "Investors?" Malik blinks. "It's just a program." Patel shakes her head firmly. "It's more than that. You've built something people want. That makes it powerful, and power attracts attention. Good and bad. Malik thinks of Reynolds, of the hate in his eyes at the symposium. The thought chills him. So what do I do? Decide what you want Neon to be, Patel says. A tool for schools? A startup? A research project? The world is asking. You need to answer. That evening, Malik sits at the kitchen table, his laptop open, neon glowing on the screen. His mom stirs a pot of soup on the stove. Mom, he asks quietly, what if this isn't just a school thing anymore? What if people want it? Really want it? Tasha turns, ladle in hand. Then you decide who gets to use it. Don't let anyone take it away from you, especially not people like Reynolds. Malik nods, her words grounding him. His phone buzzes again, an email from a professor at MIT, then another from a tech blogger asking for an interview. Malik's pulse quickens. The world really is watching. Meanwhile, Reynolds sits alone in his classroom after dark, staring at the empty desks. The humiliation of the symposium replays in his mind, the applause for Malik, the silence that swallowed his accusations. His inbox is full too, but not of praise. District officials questioning his conduct, parents demanding answers, colleagues avoiding his calls. He slams his fist on the desk. I won't be erased by a child. But for the first time, his words ring hollow even to himself. By midweek, Neon has spread far beyond Malik's control. A college student posts a clip of it solving a physics problem. A teacher in another state tweets, if this kid's program was in classrooms, half my students wouldn't drop math. Reporters begin calling Patel's office. Some want to interview Malik, others want to know if the district plans to support or suppress his invention. The pressure builds. Patel warns Malik, the spotlight can burn. Be careful what you share. But Malik feels something shifting inside him. For so long he's played defense, fighting off lies, proving himself over and over. Now the world is asking him to lead. Friday, the principal calls Malik into his office again. But this time, Harris isn't stern. He looks nervous. Malik, Harris says, the superintendent wants to meet you. The district board too. They're talking about putting Neon on the agenda. It could become a district-wide pilot program. Malik's heart races. Seriously? Yes, but be warned, not everyone is thrilled. Some worry about liability. And some, Harris glances at Reynolds' empty chair behind his desk, are pushing back hard. Malik leaves the office dazed. A week ago, he was fighting to prove Neon was real. Now it might reshape the entire district. That night, he sits with his mom on the porch, the cool air heavy with crickets. Mom, he whispers, what if this is too much? What if I'm not ready? She squeezes his hand. Baby, no one's ever ready for greatness. You step into it scared, and you step anyway. Malik looks out at the night sky, stars scattered like equations across a chalkboard. Fear still coils in his stomach, but alongside it burns determination. Reynolds may still scheme in the shadows. The district may question him. The spotlight may be blinding. But Malik knows one truth. He's not just surviving anymore. He's building something the world can't ignore. The district boardroom is bigger than Malik expected. Long polished table, microphones lined up, rows of chairs filled with parents, teachers, and a few local reporters. The air buzzes with anticipation. Malik sits near the front with Ms. Patel and his mom. His backpack rests at his feet, neon loaded and ready. He tries to steady his breathing, but every whisper feels like it's about him. The superintendent, a tall woman with sharp glasses, calls the meeting to order. We are here to discuss new opportunities in curriculum advancement, specifically the proposal regarding a student-developed program called Neon. All eyes turn toward Malik. His throat tightens. This is bigger than the symposium. This isn't just about impressing academics. This is about convincing a bureaucracy. The first speaker is a math teacher from another high school. I've reviewed Neon. It's impressive, but it raises concerns. Accuracy, liability, intellectual property. Who controls it if we adopt it? A student? A teacher? The district? Another teacher chimes in. And what message does it send if a high school seniors tool is suddenly elevated? What about years of vetted software we already use? Murmurs ripple through the room. Malik grips his knees, heart pounding. These aren't attacks on his integrity like Reynolds made. These are doubts about scale, about control. Different battlefield, same stakes. Then Reynolds rises from his chair near the back. He's dressed in a crisp suit, voice smooth as he addresses the board. I urge caution. I know this student, I've taught him. He's talented, yes, but reckless. Neon may look polished, but it is untested. It could confuse students, even mislead them. To gamble the district's curriculum on an unproven experiment would be irresponsible. He places a thick packet of papers on the table. Here are inconsistencies I've observed. Sections of code resembling open-source libraries. If the district embraces Neon, you risk endorsing plagiarism. Gasps echo in the audience. Malik's stomach drops. Here it is again. The same smear, polished for a new stage. Patel leans close, whispering, "Stay calm. Facts first, fire second." The superintendent turns to Malik. "Mr. Carter, would you like to respond?" He stands slowly, knees trembling, then walks to the microphone. His mom's eyes lock on him, steady and encouraging. "Thank you," Malik begins. His voice is soft, but as he continues, strength seeps in. "Mr. Reynolds has questioned me before, and every time I've answered with proof. Tonight will be no different." He opens his laptop, projecting Neon onto the screen. Yes, Neon uses libraries, like every modern program does. That's not plagiarism. That's programming. What makes Neon different is how it uses them. He types quickly, running a calculus problem. The audience watches as Neon solves it, graphs it, and explains each step. "This is not copied," Malik says firmly. "This is built by me. And every version, every revision is saved. You can trace the growth like a fingerprint." He pulls out his notebooks, pages frayed and ink smudged. Here are months of work, mistakes, retries, breakthroughs, not downloaded, lived. The room is silent. Parents lean forward, curious. Teachers exchange looks. Malik breathes deeply. This isn't about me versus Mr. Reynolds. This is about students who struggle. Students who think math is impossible. Neon gives them a way in. That's worth more than suspicion. The superintendent nods. "Thank you, Malik. We will deliberate." The board members step into a side room. The audience hums with chatter. Patel squeezes Malik's shoulder. "You did what you had to. Now it's in their hands." Reynolds shoots him a cold glare from across the room, but Malik doesn't flinch. For once, he isn't on trial. His work is. Minutes tick by like hours. Then the board returns. The superintendent clears her throat. The district has decided to approve a limited pilot program for Neon in select classrooms. We believe in exploring innovation while maintaining oversight. Mr. Carter will collaborate with faculty under supervision. The room erupts, applause from students and parents, murmurs from skeptical teachers. Malik exhales, relief flooding him. It's not total victory, but it's a step. Reporters rush forward, snapping photos, asking questions. "How does it feel? What's next for Neon?" Malik stammers through answers, overwhelmed but exhilarated. Patel beams. "You did it," she whispers. His mom hugs him tight. "You're opening doors, baby, one by one." Across the room, Reynolds stiffens. His face is pale, lips pressed thin. The board didn't side with him this time. His grip is slipping, and he knows it. That night at home, Malik stares at the news article online. District approves student's math program for pilot. His photo beams back at him, Neon projected behind. He whispers to himself, "This is just the beginning." But beneath the triumph, a flicker of unease lingers. Reynolds isn't gone, and people outside the district, investors, politicians, corporations, are starting to notice. The battlefield is growing larger. Within a week of the district's decision, Neon finds its way into 2 classrooms, one at Malik's school and another across town. The news spreads quickly. Student-built program enters curriculum. And suddenly Malik is no longer just a kid in the hallway. He's a name in the local paper, a face on evening news. When he enters first-period calculus, students crowd around him. "Yo, Carter, Neon actually helped me finish the homework last night," one says, waving a notebook filled with neatly graphed problems. Another grins. "I actually understood derivatives for the first time." Malik smiles, though he tries to downplay it. "It's just the start," he tells them. But inside, his chest swells. This is exactly what he dreamed. Math no longer a wall, but a window. The robotics lab transforms into mission control. Jada and Luis help monitor feedback, gathering notes from students testing Neon. Patel prints surveys, tracking how kids respond. "This is data," she explains. "Data that proves Neon works." Emails pour in from teachers at other schools, asking for access. Some beg politely, others demand it with suspicion, like neon is a secret weapon Malik's hoarding. Malik works late into the night, patching glitches, adding new features. Every line of code feels like a battle won, not just against Reynolds, but against the very system that doubted him. Reynolds, however, is far from defeated. He prowls the hallways, stiff and bitter, watching students huddle around laptops running neon. Their excitement stings like acid. During class, he snaps, "Carter's program isn't the gospel, don't rely on it." But the students barely hide their smirks as they use it anyway. Authority is slipping through his fingers. One evening, alone in his classroom, Reynolds types an anonymous email to a tech blog. District gambling on untested student software, potential plagiarism scandal brewing. He attaches snippets of Neon's code, framed to look incriminating. He hits send, heart pounding. If he can't win in the classroom, he'll destroy Malik in the court of public opinion. Days later, Malik and Patel sit in her office when her phone buzzes. Her face darkens as she scrolls. "Malik," she says, voice tight, "a blog's accusing you of plagiarism again. It's spreading fast." Malik's stomach lurches. "What? But we already—" Patel slams her laptop shut. "I know, but lies don't need proof to spread. We'll need to respond carefully, calm, factual, confident, just like at the board and the symposium." Malik leans back, eyes burning. He's exhausted of fighting the same shadow over and over, but he knows giving up isn't an option. That night, over dinner, his mom notices the slump in his shoulders. "Talk to me," she says gently. He sighs. "It never ends. No matter what I prove, there's always another attack. Maybe I should just—" "Stop!" she interrupts sharply. "Baby, they want you to stop. That's the point. But you don't let people like that win. You keep walking. Every step forward is another slap in their face." Malik stares at her, then slowly nods. She's right. Again. The next morning, Patel arranges a press conference in the school auditorium. Reporters gather, cameras flashing. Malik stands at the podium, nerves buzzing but voice steady. "I've been accused of plagiarism before," he begins. "Each time I've proven my work is my own. Neon isn't stolen. It's grown. From my notebooks, my late nights, my mistakes. And if anyone doubts it, I'll show them." He types a new problem live. Neon solving it step by step. The room watches, captivated. "This is not about me versus an accusation," Malik continues. "This is about students. Neon exists to help them learn. That's the story worth telling." Applause fills the room. Cameras flash. The next day, headlines flip. Student defends innovation with live demo. Across town, Reynolds reads the papers with fury. Each smear he launches turns into fuel for Malik's rise. Parents complain to the district, colleagues avoid his calls, and students mock him under their breath. He slams his desk, rage boiling. "This isn't over," he growls. But deep down, he feels it slipping. Meanwhile, Malik's inbox floods with new offers. A National Education Foundation wants him to apply for a fellowship. A Silicon Valley investor asks for a meeting. An email arrives from MIT again, this time inviting him to tour their AI lab. Jada nudges him. "You realize your life just changed, right?" Malik grins, though the weight of it settles heavy. "Yeah, and it's only getting bigger." That evening, Malik walks home beneath the glow of streetlights, backpack slung heavy with books and notes. For the first time, the future feels wide open. But as he steps onto his porch, his phone buzzes with a new message from an unknown number. "You think you've won? You haven't seen how far I'll go." Malik stares at the screen, pulse quickening. The words chill him, not because they surprise him, but because he knows exactly who sent them. Reynolds isn't done, and the battle is far from over. The anonymous text gnaws at Malik all night. He lies awake, staring at the ceiling, phone still clutched in his hand. The words replay over and over. "You haven't seen how far I'll go." He knows it's Reynolds. Who else would stoop to threats after losing at every turn? But there's something about the phrasing, colder, more dangerous, that makes Malik wonder if Reynolds is truly acting alone anymore. The next morning, Malik drags himself into school, exhausted. Jada and Luis immediately notice. "Dude, you look like you didn't sleep," Luis says, frowning. Malik hesitates, then shows them the text. Jada's jaw tightens. "That's not just petty anymore, that's a threat." "Shouldn't you tell Patel or the principal?" Luis asks. Malik shakes his head. "If I go running every time Reynolds tries something, it'll look like I can't stand on my own. I'll handle it. But even as he says it, unease coils in his gut. Later that day, Patel calls Malik into her office. She holds a printout of an article. This came out this morning. An anonymous source claims Neon is built on stolen university code. They're naming specific professors. Malik's blood runs cold. That's a lie. I know, Patel says firmly, but the problem is perception. Universities don't like hearing their work was stolen, even if it's false. If this spreads, it could jeopardize your offers, your reputation, everything. Malik slams his fists on the desk. Why won't he stop? Patel's eyes harden. Because he's losing control. And desperate men are dangerous. Meanwhile, Reynolds sits in a quiet diner, sipping bitter coffee. Across from him is a man in a gray suit, tapping a pen on the table. You're telling me this kid's program is attracting national attention? The man asks, voice smooth. Reynolds leans in. Yes, and it's dangerous. Built on stolen ideas. If someone like you wants to intervene, you'd be doing the education system a favor. The man smirks. Or making a profit. He slides a card across the table. We might be interested in acquiring Neon. With or without the boy's consent. Reynolds' lips curl into a thin smile. For the first time, he feels he has an ally, one with resources far beyond a classroom. Back at school, Malik dives deeper into Neon, determined to push past the noise. He expands the interface, adding modules for physics and statistics. The more attacks Reynolds launches, the harder Malik works. During a study session, Jada leans over his shoulder. Malik, this is insane. You're coding like it's life or death. He pauses, fingers hovering over the keys. Because it is. If I stop, he wins. And if he wins, they bury Neon. And me. Luis adds quietly, then don't stop. But don't burn out either. We've got your back. 2 days later, Malik and his mom arrive home to find an envelope taped to their door. Inside, a printed article draft titled, Local Student Exposed as Fraud. District Embarrassed. No sender, no signature. Just a message scrawled in red ink. Next week, this runs. Tasha grips the paper, fury flashing in her eyes. This is harassment. We're calling the police. But Malik shakes his head, voice trembling but resolute. No. If we go to the police, it becomes a bigger story. That's what he wants. Headlines, chaos. The only way to beat him is to show the truth louder than his lies. His mom studies him, then slowly nods. All right, but you won't fight this alone. That weekend, Patel arranges a live stream event in the school auditorium. Students, parents, and even local media gather. Malik stands on stage, neon projected behind him. Some say I didn't build this, he begins, voice steady. Some say it's stolen. Tonight, I'm going to prove line by line that Neon is mine. He opens the code editor, scrolling through files. Every version has been saved since day one. Every update tracked, every bug fixed. You can trace the journey from messy first draft to what you see today. He demonstrates a new feature live, Neon solving a complex physics problem, graphing forces in real time. The audience gasps, phones out recording. This is my work, my vision, and it will not be silenced. Thunderous applause fills the hall. Hashtags explode online. #stand with Malik, #Neon proof. Across town, Reynolds watches the stream on his laptop, fury boiling. The man in the gray suit stands behind him, unimpressed. You told me this kid was fragile, the man says coldly. But he's building a movement. Reynolds slams the laptop shut. Then we'll break the movement, whatever it takes. The man's smile is thin and sharp. Careful what you wish for. Once people like me get involved, there's no turning back. Reynolds hesitates, but pride drowns caution. Do it. That night, Malik sits at his desk, scrolling through thousands of supportive comments. For the first time, the lies don't sting as much. His truth is louder. His work speaks for itself. But in the back of his mind, he can't shake the text, the envelope, the gray-suited man he doesn't yet know exists. Because while Malik fights for his future in the open, darker forces are circling in the shadows. And they don't play by the same rules. The Monday after Malik's livestream, the school feels different. Students stop him in the hallway, shaking his hand, asking about Neon like he's some kind of celebrity. Even teachers, the ones who once treated him with skepticism, now nod in quiet respect. But Malik senses it. The spotlight is growing hotter. Fame doesn't just bring applause, it draws predators. That afternoon, Patel finds him in the robotics lab. She's holding a stack of emails, her expression tight. These came in today, she says, spreading them out on the table. Investors, tech companies. One even from an educational software corporation in California. They're all offering to partner or purchase Neon. Malik frowns. Purchase? Like, buy it from me? Yes, Patel says flatly. And don't be fooled. Their offers aren't generous. They're power plays. They see a student with something valuable and think they can swoop in, wave a check, and take control. Malik's chest tightens. What do I do? Patel leans closer. You guard Neon like it's gold, because to them, it is. Share nothing, sign nothing. At home, his mom echoes the warning. People are going to see dollar signs, baby. But this program isn't just money. It's your name, your future. Don't let them strip that from you. Malik nods, but unease gnaws at him. He built Neon to help students, not to become the center of a corporate feeding frenzy. Meanwhile, across town, Reynolds sits in his darkened living room, the glow of his laptop casting shadows across his face. The man in the gray suit stands at the window, phone pressed to his ear. Yes, the man says smoothly. The boy has resisted initial pressure, but popularity breeds vulnerability. The bigger he gets, the harder he'll fall. He hangs up, then turns to Reynolds. We'll make our move soon. For now, keep feeding doubt. Every rumor, every smear weakens his armor. Reynolds sneers. He's just a kid, he won't last. But deep down, even Reynolds wonders if he's underestimating Malik. The next day, Malik receives an invitation that makes his heart skip. A tech conference in Boston, all expenses paid, asking him to showcase Neon alongside established companies. Jada nearly jumps out of her chair when he shows her. That's huge! You can't say no. Luis agrees. This is national. If you crush it there, you'll be unstoppable. But Malik hesitates. What if it's a trap? What if it's like Reynolds all over again, but on a bigger stage? Patel, overhearing, says, Then we prepare. The symposium, the board meeting, the live stream, each one trained you for this. You've proven you can rise to the moment. This is just the next step. Malik exhales, nodding slowly. All right, let's do it. The conference looms large in his mind all week. Malik works non-stop, refining Neon, rehearsing his demo until he can run it in his sleep. His mom watches him from the kitchen doorway, pride and worry mixing in her eyes. You're carrying a lot, baby, she says one night. But don't forget, you're still 17. You deserve to breathe too. He smiles faintly. I'll breathe when this is over. Friday night, as Malik packs for Boston, another message arrives on his phone. This one isn't anonymous. It's an email with a corporate logo he doesn't recognize. Congratulations on your upcoming appearance. We'd like to discuss an exclusive deal for Neon. Consider this a warning. Decline and your program may not survive the year. Malik's hands shake as he reads it. It's not just Reynolds anymore. This is bigger, darker. He shows Patel the next morning. Her face hardens. This confirms what I feared. Corporations are circling. Some will smile, some will threaten. You're not just a student anymore, Malik. You're a target. He swallows hard. So what do? We go to Boston, Patel says firmly, and we make Neon undeniable. The stronger you stand in public, the harder it is for them to take you down. In the quiet of his room that night, Malik stares at Neon glowing on his laptop screen. He thinks back to the beginning. Scribbled equations, messy code, the constant sneers of Reynolds. Back then, it was just survival. Prove it's real, prove he's not a fraud. Now it's so much bigger. He isn't just fighting for himself anymore. He's fighting for the idea that a kid from a small high school can build something powerful and keep it out of the hands of people who would twist it. He whispers into the glow of the screen, You're mine, and I won't let them take you. The plane ticket to Boston lies on his desk. In 48 hours, Malik will step onto a stage bigger than anything he's faced. Applause and doubt will meet him in equal measure. And somewhere in the shadows, Reynolds and his new allies sharpen their knives. The sharks are circling. The city skyline looms tall as Malik's plane descends into Boston. He presses his forehead to the window, watching the glittering lights below. His heart pounds, excitement and dread tangled tight in his chest. Patel sits beside him, calm but alert, flipping through conference notes. Remember, you don't need to impress everyone, she says quietly. Just tell your truth. Show what Neon can do. Malik nods, though he barely hears her over the roar in his head. Don't fail, don't stumble. The world is watching. At the convention center, the air is electric. Giant banners hang overhead. National Tech Futures Conference. Booths line the floor with polished displays, VR headsets, drones, AI tutors. Malik feels small, his backpack heavy with the laptop that carries neon. But when the registration desk hands him a badge, presenter, Malik Carter, Neon Project, something steadies in him. This isn't luck. He earned this stage. Backstage, Malik peeks out at the audience. Rows of seats stretch into the distance, filled with professors, investors, and reporters. Cameras glint under bright lights. Patel squeezes his shoulder. Breathe, you've done this before. But this time Malik knows the stakes are higher. Somewhere in the crowd could be people waiting to tear him down. Reynolds, the gray-suited man, or worse. When the announcer calls his name, Malik walks onto the stage. The hall is silent, expectant. He plugs in his laptop, Neon's clean interface glowing behind him. My name is Malik Carter, he begins, voice steady despite his shaking hands. I built Neon to make math less of a wall and more of a window. He runs the first demo, a calculus problem solved step by step, the graph animating in real time. Murmurs of surprise ripple through the audience. He dives deeper, showing Neon tackling physics equations, statistical models, each with clarity and visuals. This isn't just about solving problems, Malik explains. It's about showing why they work. For every student who ever felt math was impossible, Neon is proof it doesn't have to be. Applause breaks out, cautious at first, then stronger. Cameras flash. Malik exhales. He's holding them. But just as he transitions to his final demo, the screen glitches. The graph freezes, then vanishes. Lines of code scroll wildly. Gasps ripple through the hall. Panic claws at Malik's chest. This isn't normal. He knows his code. This isn't a bug. It's sabotage. Patel rushes from the side of the stage, whispering, "Keep calm, restart." Malik's fingers fly across the keyboard, bypassing the corrupted script. He opens an older version of Neon, running the same problem live. This time it works flawlessly, the graph blooming onto the screen. He looks up, voice firm. Technology fails, people fail. But innovation isn't about being flawless, it's about adapting. That's what Neon does. That's what I do. The audience bursts into applause again, louder, energized. From the shadows at the back of the hall, Reynolds watches, fists clenched. Beside him, the gray-suited man smirks. You promised me he'd fold under pressure, the man murmurs. Reynolds seethes. He should have. Someone must have tipped him off. The man chuckles. Or maybe he's just better than you thought. Either way, he's dangerous. And dangerous kids need handling. Reynolds swallows hard. For the first time, he feels a chill. As if he's unleashed something even he can't control. After the presentation, reporters swarm Malik. How old are you again? When will Neon be available? Are you negotiating with investors? Malik answers as best he can, Patel shielding him when questions get too sharp. His mom, watching from the wings, beams with pride. You killed it, Jada texts from back home, followed by a string of clapping emojis. But Malik can't shake the thought of the glitch. Someone tampered with Neon, and if they can do it once, they can do it again. That evening, Malik and Patel return to the hotel. Exhaustion drapes over him like a heavy coat, but sleep doesn't come easy. He replays the moment on stage, the frozen screen, the scrolling code. He digs into the logs, eyes narrowing. There it is, an intrusion attempt traced to an unfamiliar IP, not random, not accidental. Someone tried to crash him in front of the world. His pulse quickens. They're coming after me harder now. The next morning, an article headline greets him at breakfast. Teen's math program impresses at conference despite technical glitch. The photo shows him smiling nervously at the podium. Patel folds the paper with a sigh. They framed it as resilience. That's good. But we need to be cautious. Whoever tried to sabotage you won't stop here. Malik nods, determination burning in his chest. Then neither will I. He looks out at the Boston skyline through the hotel window. The city feels vast, buzzing with possibility and threat alike. He whispers under his breath, not to Patel, not even to himself, but to the unseen enemies circling him. You won't take this from me. Not neon, not my future. Back home in his bedroom, Malik sits hunched over his laptop, the glow from the screen lighting his tired face. The applause from Boston still rings in his ears, but it's overshadowed by the nagging question, who hacked Neon? He scrolls through lines of data, tracing the glitch back to its source. Hours slip by. Finally, he finds it, a digital fingerprint left behind in the logs. Not random code, not a misfire. This was intentional. The IP address points to a corporate server in New York, one tied to an educational software company Malik recognizes. EduTech Systems, a giant in the industry. His stomach sinks. They tried to take me out on stage, he whispers, and they're not done. The next day, Malik brings his findings to Patel. She studies the printouts with a frown. EduTech, she mutters. They've been trying to corner the education market for years. If Neon threatens their grip, of course they'd want it gone. So what do we do? Malik asks. Patel leans back, thinking. We gather evidence. Carefully. If we go public too soon, they'll bury us with lawyers. But if we hold proof, undeniable proof, we can expose them. Malik nods, though fear flickers in his chest. He's not just up against Reynolds anymore. He's staring down a corporation with money, lawyers, and power. At school, whispers trail him through the halls. Articles about the Boston conference have made him a local celebrity. Students crowd around him, asking for updates. Even teachers approach with cautious respect. But Malik notices Reynolds at the end of the hall, watching him with an unreadable expression. No insults, no smears this time, just a cold, calculating stare. It rattles him more than words ever could. That evening, Malik sits at the kitchen table with his mom, showing her the logs. They hacked you? She says, voice sharp with anger. Yes, and I can trace it back to them. Tasha crosses her arms. Then you need to hit back. People like that don't stop until you make them stop. But how? Malik asks quietly. She looks him dead in the eyes. The same way you've handled everything else. You shine so bright they can't put you out. Meanwhile, Reynolds sits in his car outside the school, staring at a folder in his lap. Inside are copies of articles about Malik, his face plastered across headlines, his name praised in glowing reviews. Every win Malik earns feels like another nail in Reynolds' coffin. His reputation at school is ruined. Parents whisper, colleagues distance themselves. Then his phone buzzes, a message from the gray-suited man. He traced the hack. Our window is closing. Decide where you stand. Reynolds grips the phone, sweat beading on his forehead. For the first time, he wonders if he's in too deep. Patel arranges a meeting with a trusted contact, a journalist who specializes in corporate corruption. Malik, nervous but determined, shows the reporter his logs. This is serious, the journalist says, eyes narrowing. If what you're showing me is real, EduTech orchestrated sabotage against a minor to protect market share. That's criminal. Malik's voice wavers. Will you publish it? The reporter shakes his head. Not yet, I need more. If we go after EduTech, we need airtight proof. Otherwise, they'll crush you and me with you. Malik slumps back, frustrated. Proof wasn't enough last time. It has to be irrefutable. That night, Malik codes with furious intensity. If they want to bury him, he'll make Neon unstoppable. He builds new safeguards, firewalls, redundancies, layers of armor around his creation. But no matter how strong the defenses, a thought gnaws at him. Enemies with power don't always attack through computers. They attack through people. 2 days later, Malik receives another message. This time, not anonymous. It's signed with EduTech's logo, cold and professional. You have built something impressive. Sell Neon to us and you will be rewarded. Refuse, and we cannot guarantee your program's survival in the marketplace. Choose wisely. His blood runs cold. They're not hiding anymore. He shows Patel and his mom. His mom slams the paper down. That's a threat, plain and simple. Patel nods grimly. It's extortion, but this could be the piece of evidence we need. Malik stares at the words again, his hands shaking. The reality hits him. This isn't just about proving himself anymore. This is war. At school the next morning, Malik finds Reynolds waiting by his locker. You think you're untouchable now? Reynolds sneers. You don't know the game you're in, Carter. These people, they'll eat you alive. Malik meets his gaze, voice steady. Then let them try. I'm not backing down. For a moment, something flickers in Reynolds' eyes. Not anger, but fear. He turns and walks away without another word. That night, Malik sits in his room, neon glowing on the screen. He knows EduTech is circling, Reynolds is unraveling, and bigger battles lie ahead. But beneath the fear, determination burns hotter than ever. He whispers to himself, to Neon, to anyone listening, you came from nothing. You weren't supposed to exist, but you do. And I'll protect you, no matter what it takes. The glow of the screen reflects in his eyes, not just a program, but a weapon of truth. And in the darkness outside, the sharks circle closer. The auditorium is packed, every seat filled, cameras flashing. The district has called a public forum after EduTech's demands surfaced. Parents, teachers, students, reporters, all gathered to see whether Malik Carter's creation will survive or be swallowed whole. Malik stands backstage, palms sweating. Patel adjusts his tie, her voice steady. This isn't just another presentation. This is the fight for Neon's future. Don't let them intimidate you. His mom squeezes his hand. Remember who you are, baby. They can throw money, threats, whatever they want, but they can't touch your truth. Malik nods, drawing strength from them. For months, he's been proving himself piece by piece. Tonight, it all comes down to this. The superintendent opens the meeting. We have received both remarkable praise and serious allegations concerning the Neon program. Tonight, all parties will be heard. First to speak is a representative from EduTech, the gray-suited man. He steps up to the microphone, his smile sharp as glass. Ladies and gentlemen, he begins smoothly, we at EduTech are committed to advancing education responsibly. Mr. Carter's work is ambitious, but untested, flawed, dangerous even. Rather than risk our children's education on unstable software, we propose acquiring Neon and refining it properly. He spreads his hands magnanimously. We would compensate the Carter family generously, a fair deal for all. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Some parents nod uncertainly. The man's words drip with polish, with power. Then Reynolds rises from the back. His voice shakes, but he speaks anyway. This boy has defied every rule, every boundary. He doesn't respect authority, doesn't respect the system. He's dangerous in the classroom. Handing him influence over the district is a mistake you'll regret. The room grows tense. All eyes shift to Malik. He steps forward, laptop under his arm, and takes the microphone. His hands tremble, but his voice is clear. I've been accused of plagiarism, sabotage, arrogance, you name it. And every time I've answered with proof. Neon isn't dangerous. What's dangerous is silencing students who dare to build something new. He plugs in his laptop. Neon fills the screen behind him, glowing bright. This program doesn't belong to EduTech. It doesn't belong to Mr. Reynolds. It belongs to every student who ever stared at a math problem and thought, I can't do this. He runs a demo live, a calculus problem solved with steps explained in plain language, then a physics equation, animated vectors moving across the screen. The crowd leans in, mesmerized. This is Neon, built in my bedroom, coded through sleepless nights, tested by real students, not stolen, not dangerous, ours. The EduTech rep chuckles, voice slick. Impressive showmanship, but let's be clear. Innovation without structure collapses. Mr. Carter may be talented, but he is still a child. Without our guidance, Neon will fail. Malik locks eyes with him, anger steadying his voice. If by guidance you mean stripping it away, rebranding it, and selling it back to schools for profit, then no thank you. Students don't need corporations to tell them what learning should look like. We can shape it ourselves. Applause erupts from students in the crowd, parents joining in. The energy shifts. Reynolds, sweating under the lights, stammers, You think you're some kind of hero? You're just a kid? Malik cuts him off. Yes, I am a kid. And I built something you couldn't. That doesn't make me less. That makes me proof that talent can come from anywhere, even from the students you tried to crush. The room falls silent. For the first time, Reynolds has no retort. His face crumples, pride breaking under the weight of truth. The superintendent rises. We have heard enough. Neon will remain under district protection. Mr. Carter retains ownership. We will expand the pilot program and provide resources for further development. Any corporate acquisition is rejected. The crowd explodes in cheers. Reporters surge forward, cameras flashing. Malik stands tall, though his knees nearly buckle with relief. Patel beams with pride. His mom hugs him tight, tears in her eyes. You did it, baby. You kept it yours. At the back of the room, the EduTech rep slips away, his smile gone. His whispered words to Reynolds are cold. You failed me. This boy won't be bought. But don't worry, corporations never forget. Reynolds sinks into his chair, hollow and defeated. His war against Malik is over, and he's lost. That night, Malik sits on his porch, laptop in his lap. Neon glows softly in the dark, its code lines reflecting in his eyes. He thinks back to the beginning. The sneers, the false accusations, the nights when even he doubted himself. And then he thinks of today, the applause, the cheers, the moment he stood firm against giants. Adalet Yurini Buldu, his mom whispers behind him as if reading his thoughts. Justice has been served. Malik smiles faintly. This is only the start. The road ahead will be harder. Corporations will circle, enemies will scheme. But tonight, at least, victory is his, and the world knows his name.